We have three guys who are free agents as far as old linemen go. Donovan Smith kind of being the headliner of that. Obviously filled in did a pretty good job this year. Second half of the season when he came back from the injury, did awesome. Was great in the playoffs. Nick Allegretti, our guard, has been with us since the kind of the jump of the Mahomes era. Yeah, he's a free agent. Obviously, he's got the he's gonna. I haven't really heard about what kind of surgery he's going to get, but with the injury he has, that's Tommy John surgery. So and that could range to be, I don't know, 5 to 12 months based on different ranges of it. I remember last year when what's his name when Purdy had the UCL injury. They were saying he was going to be out for the whole season. Came back by the time preseason came around. So it was like, oh, whoa, all right. So who knows if he goes to that same surgeon. And then our guy who you've been a huge fan of him, JD. It's our guy Prince Tega Wanogo, who honestly, like, without the injury bug, this guy could have been vying for starting tackle reps. I believe he tore his quad this year. He had a pretty bad injury during the season this year. And yeah, he's a free agent now. Interesting to see what happens with him. I know we've been high on him. Our team has, so I don't know what's going to happen with him. What stands out to you with the three free agents that we have this year, JD, with these guys?
So what stands out? These guys, I mean, Donovan Smith was a good starter for us. I think he did a good job for us, a really good job. He's a starting left tackle in the NFL, no doubt. And so, trying to either replace him and get a guy here, knowing that we got Wanye Morris, is he developed enough to take that over? Is kind of the questions that we kind of looking at. My thing was Donovan signed a 1-year deal with us, the $3 million. Is it something that the Chiefs could try to sign long term with Donovan for another couple of years? I think he did a pretty good job for us. Now, I keep saying that over and over again. Wanye came in and did a good job in the reserve role. The question is he ready? We know he's a big athletic kid. Still got to get better feet. Still probably has to get a little bit stronger. He can work all those things during the offseason. He should be, if he's not working on that stuff right now to become the starting left tackle, I don't know what else he's doing. I don't know as far as, like, do you address that in the draft? I don't think it's a high priority for us. I think that's what you try to explore is either try to keep Donovan here or go all in on Wanye, right? And then see who you got, that could possibly back up. That's the question. I like Prince, Tegawanu, the Prince. He was a guy that I thought was going to come in and actually take over at the left tackle position because he's another athletic guy. Played at Auburn, was up with Philly for a little bit, and ended coming out here to Kansas City. I was like, man, that's great. Yahoo! We got this guy. And like you said, injury bug hits him, and it's just like one of those things, man. It's just, for whatever reason, doesn't pan out. Guys keep having injuries here and there, just setbacks. But I like his size. I like his, his grit, everything about him. Looked good in college, looked good when he would come in, some of the plays, man. I mean, daggone. So these three guys, and then, of course, Nick, it's unfortunate, man, this happened with his elbow. But he was a solid backup for us. Solid backup for us. So I don't know how long that's going to take. Will he be able to report at the beginning of camp for us? Possibly. I don't know. Will he be able to do it at least before the season? If he does, he keeps his speed and stuff, I think he'll be fine. But he is a free agent. You want to keep a guy like that here. I think Nick Allegretti is a guy that is a staple here in Kansas City that, he wants to probably end his career here. And I would look to try to make something like that happen. Especially, you still know you got Joe, Tooney. And so with Joe, maybe a restructure is coming for him to get more money back. That's another question. But from these three guys that I'm looking at right here, all three guys can help us. All three guys, I think, are good players. I like all of them on the roster. I do. I like all three guys on the roster. So that's what I see. That's what stands out for me.
The thing about Prince, which is so interesting, and obviously the injury bugs is terrible when guys just continually to get different injuries. But Prince, like week 3, that Bears game, Juwan, we're killing them, but we pulled Juwan Taylor, and I remember everyone's like, "Whoa, what's going on here? Juwan got pulled. What happened? What happened?" And Prince comes in there, looks pretty damn good, and then Juwan goes back in there, like, "Oh, I wonder why that is." And then it's like, "Oh, wait, Prince got hurt in that game." It was kind of one of those quiet things that we didn't really know what it was, and tore his quadriceps in that game. And there was a chance he almost made it back for the Super Bowl, but then I believe they ruled him out shortly before the Super Bowl. But man, yeah, like, and the one thing I will say with Allegretti and Prince specifically, I don't know what Donovan Smith, how he's going to break the bank this year. Based on PFF's numbers, we'll get into the available guys, but like, I don't know if Prince and Allegretti are going to break the bank, and if they, depending on what their injury status is, how long it's going to take, we may be able to get a discount on them because and I'll tell you what about Allegretti, which is so disappointing for him. He was playing so well that I think that he probably would be able to price out of what we probably pay from another team that saw him, like kind of what Wiley did with us last year. Wiley looked good, got a 3-year, $24 million deal from the Commanders, and then boom, he left. Allegretti was probably trending towards that way with the way he dominated in the back half of the playoffs. And then Prince with the quadricep injury, I don't know. I feel like we could be able to get him at a very cheap price kind of thing. And I don't know what that is, but he's proven when he does get playing time, it's the being able to stay on the field, which we also have that same kind of thing with Niang, who's also still on the roster. So it's like, yeah. But Donovan Smith, I don't know. Do you think Donovan Smith, based on if you were GM and based on what you saw this year, do you think because I mean, that was the whole thing. He signed a 1-year deal. Let's kind of prove it because he wanted a bigger contract and he didn't end up getting it. Signs with Kansas City. Do you think he did enough as far as to get a bigger contract than what he got last year with us?
I do. I think so. Absolutely. If you're a starting left tackle here in the NFL, you should have, you're protecting the most valuable man in the NFL too. So let's not forget that. What that translates into as far as contract, I'm not sure, right? Because we know we're gonna have some constraints on far as like trying to sign guys. My thing is, could you sign Donovan Smith to maybe, let's just say you give him double of what he was making, $6 million a year. Okay. All right. Do it for like 3 years. I think that's something that's doable. Okay. $6 to $7 million, especially if he's not getting bites from other teams. I don't know. Other teams may be like, hey man, look, we want to pay you 10 to 12. Right. And he has every right to go if he's getting those type of bites and those type of opportunities, then I think he has to explore those things. I think he'll do the right thing for that. Like you said, he already has 2 Super Bowl rings. I think he enjoyed playing here. He looked natural, but he definitely deserves a bigger payday than what we got. We got him at a good bargain, man, for $3 million.
We did.
Does that mean that some of that? So here's the possibilities. There's talk and conversation that they may try to restructure Juwan too, right? So that might be a thing that you can do to bring some of that money. We know you got Joe and you got Juwan both making good money. Okay. You want to try to keep that line together as much as possible. And that left tackle is pivotal. It is pivotal to our success. Unless you just think Wanye can handle it. If you think Wanye can handle it, and then you say, hey, look, let's bring Prince back. Then so be it. But those decisions are very, you got to work through this, comb this really, really well. You know what I mean? Because you got to flesh this out, man. It ain't like, hey, see you later, we appreciate it. It doesn't happen like that with tackle, especially left tackle, protecting Patrick's blind side. And so I think I had this conversation with somebody was talking about left tackle, right tackles, like nobody thinks like I said, look, man, it is a difference. And so, the blind side is still the blind side. Right tackles are getting up there to make almost what left tackles are making, right? Because of just the pass rushers you had to go against, okay? And so what they started doing is they started taking their best pass rusher and putting it against our right tackles because we knew that left tackle was our best tackle.
Yeah.
So they was like, well, shoot, we need a good caliber right tackle just like we do left. But I do believe, the blind side is one of the things because you just can't see it. And so you got to have a guy that's, premier guy protecting Patrick Mahomes' blind side. Yep. But he did a good job, man, of just seeing things all around him anyway. He's got, spatial awareness, out the wazoo. But you got to make sure. Yeah, man. You got to have, like I said, a capable guy for sure. I like Donovan. I'm going to keep saying that. I would try to find something to get Donovan here for a long-term deal. That's me.
So I remember last year during the draft. Remember what we were trying to trade up to get a left tackle. I remember I think we wanted Anton Harrison. We also wanted the dude from the Pittsburgh ended up drafting the dude from Georgia. I forgot his name. But I remember we wanted both those guys. Didn't get them. Then we wait till round 3 to get Wanye. Now it's a very deep tackle draft class. Let's say we do get the left tackle, and based on what we've seen, besides Wanye stepping in this year, Mahomes has primarily had veteran guys be his left tackle. He's never really had to go into the season with a rookie left tackle. Now, is this something that would be interesting? Like, would you be surprised if they say, "Screw it, we're not going to go get Donovan. We're not going to go get Tyron Smiths of the world or the Trent Browns of the world on the left free agency. We're just going to go with the rookie." Would that be shocking to you if we don't bring in a veteran left tackle?
It would be shocking, especially if obviously left tackle's asking for a lot of money. And if you just ask him to break the bank, man, we just ain't got the bank to break it for. We got other guys we need to break the bank for. So that's the reality of it. That's the reality of the Chiefs in their situation at this moment. Okay, trying to play, rob Peter, play, pay Paul. That's what we need to do. We got to get a little bit over here, a little over here, a little over here, to make sure our guys on the defensive side are good. But we know for a fact our left tackle's got to be a priority for us. Can you draft a guy? And it's always that question. Can you bring a rookie in and him doing a good job? He has to be one of the top, I'm telling you, first round picks, top 20 type of guys, like a no-miss guy. And we thought it was pretty deep last year with tackles. And I'm not sure how guys did and how they fared out last year for the guys that got drafted. I'm not even sure. But I know it's still a task that you had to take to at least keep adjusting to try to get into the NFL. It's going to take some time. Yeah. Wanye Morris, to me, because he's had that year on his belt, is a better option than getting a guy as a rookie coming in. You know what I mean? Like, I would take Wanye Morris because now he's got experience. He's played against the best. So, why not keep developing this guy? If that's going to be the case, as opposed to getting another rookie and say, "Oh, he's going to be a starting guy." Yeah. I don't see anybody like that who's going to come in and is just going to be lights out, Hall of Famer from the very beginning. Okay, it's going to be better than Wanye Morris, at least in my estimation. Maybe I need to do a much deeper dive into the tackle position, left tackle in college, who's going to be drafted. So.
Yeah, I was just kind of doing a brief research on, and they were saying that the things that, I made the connection, the things that this draft's deep in are the kind of the needs of our squad, which is the offensive tackles, the receivers, D tackles, all through those positions we can definitely dabble in. But
it's Marcus, these things I know. So guys that we know Donovan Smith, we played for a year. We have Wanye, who played for us in a year. Princeton had for a couple of years. We know these guys. The guys coming out of college it's a gamble. It's a gamble. You never know, man. Go ahead, brother.
No, I will say though, with Veach, so far, I know we love how he's found value in late round picks with the draft, the Trey Smiths of the world, the Creed Humphreys of the world. I mean, he has done a good job drafting late round linemen. Not saying that we're gonna put our fortunes on a late round left tackle, which that's kind of what Wanye Morris is, and a thing that you and I were kind of skeptical on with Wanye. Yeah, he's got a year under his belt where he's played primarily left tackle for a few games when Donovan went down, but he wasn't really a full-on left tackle. He was a right tackle, left tackle, right tackle, left tackle when he was in college. So it was like we didn't really lock down the left tackle kind of guy in the draft because all the left tackles were going by the time it got to our pick. So we really didn't get a kind of this full-on left tackle type of guy. Maybe this is what we go for this year. I mean, I don't know, but like the fact that it just seems weird to me that we would kind of rest our laurels with a rookie left tackle to block for Pat's blindside, as you mentioned. It's a very important position.
Yeah, I think at least for me, Wanye Morris has been here, and you solidified him being a left tackle. That's his position. Let him play that position. Let him develop. You got an offseason. You got, training camp all ready to come in for the start of the season, for the year. So I would just develop him. More so try to get a guy, into the draft. Use your draft picks for something else. I see a need. Wide receiver, we talked about that. Wide receiver. I see a need at defensive tackle besides Chris Jones.
Yep.
Get the guy in here. Another pass rusher doesn't hurt. Get a guy here. We talked about running back. We talked about maybe a tight end. Okay. Finding some guys. And so I think there's other needs there that you need to kind of look and explore to see what else you get. So especially if you got guys in the building. If you got guys in the building like Wanye Morris, and maybe try to talk Donovan to stay in there for another year and get Prince, go that route.
So based on what your priority, you're saying Donovan, try to get Donovan. If that doesn't work out, then just stick with Wanye instead of drafting a first-round rookie left tackle. That's what 100%. You do.
That's what I would do. That's exactly what I would do.
Yeah.
But that's me. That's one man's opinion. I don't know. Shoot. So hey,
we value. Everyone in the chat can agree. We value your opinion very much, buddy.
I appreciate it, man. I know a little bit of what I'm talking about.
You do.
I know the development of it when it comes in, as far as tackles and the time it takes for guys to be, be ready.
Mm-hmm.
I like Wanye Morris because he does have a year playing, and he's going against some of the best pass rushers out there. Yeah. And he's known it. He's seen them. So it's good. It's good for him. It's good for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Donovan Smith's the only question mark there as far as the money, because we're talking about, penny pinching this offseason with trying to keep our other guys in. But I wouldn't be surprised if Allegretti and Prince are back on the squad. We'll see what happens with their recovery and their offseason timeline. But I wouldn't be surprised if those two. And then, all eyes will be on, I guess, to a lesser extent, we got Chris Jones, L'Jarius Sneed watch, and then Donovan Smith watch. A little bit below those two.
Yeah. And I think it's a price, right? That's what we're looking for. What is Donovan price tag? Okay, what is his price tag?
Yeah, 1 year. We got him at 1 year, $3 million last year. What a steal.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 30-year-old guy. So,
Jenny, we have a question from our guy HVHY. I guess talking about maybe what your thoughts are as far as what you're looking for, be it draft or veteran guys. What are the things you're looking for in a lineman?
Definitely has to be all three of those: size, technique, speed, more quickness. That you want more athletic ability. You want to make sure his, from the hips, his power from his hips. If he's able to kind of, project out, striking guys, hand placement, knowledge of the game. But without a doubt, your feet's got to be, you almost have to have ballerina feet, just athletic. And so that anchor is so important, especially for tackles and offensive linemen. Leverage, guys to play with great leverage, great hand placement, strength. You got to have strength. Strength is important. It's key. You especially want to stifle a pass rush. If you got a guy who's got a hard punch, to take somebody's heart out, boom, that's what you want to be able to see. That's what it is. That strike, you got to be able to have that strike, hand placement. You don't want a guy to be out here. You want a guy to be inside. How close is he inside? But without a doubt, his relationship when he's in his, pass blocking, how good is he? Can he when a guy's who has speed, Can he adjust to a speed guy, bull rush guy? How does he do? How does he play? Does he play up high? Does he get over his toes too much? So there's a lot to look in right there, my guy. But yeah, those are all the good things. If you take it all, that's a lot that you look for alignment. I mean, I'm writing these things down. I'm checking the boxes. Okay. From the things I checked out, Wanye has size, he has athletic ability. His hands got to get better. He's got to get stronger. His feet got to get quicker than what they were. These are things that he can improve through the offseason. But I think he looks good. He looks good. I seen flashes that are like, okay, this guy right here could definitely be a starter here in the NFL. And then when you see him go up against a guy who's crafty like, Crosby and the other guy, then it's like, oh, okay. We see, the drop off. All right. And them jokers is like, they was tag team like, man, let me get a turn at him. Let me get a turn over there. And you don't want to see that. You don't want to see guys tag teaming like it's WWE over there. Yeah, but I think Wanye has all that ability in him. He starts developing that, man. I think he's going to be fine. I think the coach has seen that in him, and I like it. I like that about him. But I need to see the strength. I need to see same thing, not playing too high, be able to get out of the stance a little bit faster, and able to readjust. There's another thing. Crosby beat him on the inside. He didn't adjust real well coming back on the inside. You got to be able to feel that push and come back on guys. So.
Yeah, and I think we both agree. We both trust our offensive line coaching. I mean, they've done wonders with so many different guys throughout the years. So Andy Heck's done an amazing job. Shout out Northern Virginia, my high school alumni, Andy Heck. That's my guy.
There we go. Here we go.
So yeah, if Wanye, if they think, that's one thing too. Everyone says don't question Veach. Yeah, we're going to question it. I mean, sometimes you have to question, but if they do feel like, and definitely Pat's a part of this conversation too, if they feel that Wanye is good enough to be the left tackle this year or the future, then I trust it. I mean, because that's one thing, people talk, they say, oh, they're getting Pat input on this with receivers, with skill players, a lot of stuff. But first and foremost, everyone saw us get teed off on that Tampa Bay game. Ever since then, it's like, okay, we need to be very cognizant of what we do in the O-line. That offseason, we've got Creed, we got Trey. And then last year we get Juwan, and then this year, I mean, are we going to stick with Wanye? We'll see. And then I think Pat's going to be very vocal about if they need to bring back Donovan or if they're confident enough to stick with Wanye. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
Well, I'll tell you this. I think it couldn't have been a better scenario for us than Donovan Smith getting hurt, right? Unfortunately, him getting hurt, but he was able to propel Wanye forward to see what he can do in games. And so he it boded well for us because it's like, okay, this kid can shoot. He's got some game to it. Play really well. He's physical. We've seen him coming out physical. That's him watching Donovan. He's watching. Like in practice, I guarantee Heck is sitting there like, look, you watch how when we mauling guys, watch how Donovan and those guys are mauling guys. That's how you need to play. And so that's the best scenario for Wanye to come in and learn behind a veteran guy like Donovan Smith. Who had every potential to be one of the top left tackles in the league, right? He got hurt. So,
and I feel like the play calling, because we kind of, after that December game, that Raider game, that's when we kind of honed in and went this more ball control, balanced offensive approach, which I think if we had that kind of offense with Wanye there at left tackle, I think we wouldn't be even right now. We'd be saying, oh yeah, we got our left tackle. I feel like the offense we had, because we were still trying to, kind of not really having much of a flow to it, not really committing to the run. I feel like at that point, we're like, oh man, like, of course, I mean, it's the rookie getting beat here because we're throwing the ball 50 times and, not really having a flow to the offense. And when Donovan came back, that's when they kind of committed to that run, in the playoffs and stuff. So I think with the offensive approach that we had, I don't think it was beneficial to what Wanye was at that point in time.
I mean, that's definitely a conversation there for that. I had to go back and see. For me, even if Wanye had played well up until then, when Donovan had gotten well, I would have put Donovan back in the game. That's what I would have done. So I don't know if I would have been like, okay, Wanye's playing too good, unless he was just lights out, just killing people, and he just looked like this dude has no reason to be on the sideline whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
I just seen some, obviously with him coming in, a little deficiencies in some of his technique, his feet, those things of that nature. That was just like, okay, like he looked good for the little sample size we had.
Yeah.
Is he ready? I don't know. Can he
Yeah.
carry that long? But I am more confident in him doing it now after him playing this year, no doubt. So they might agree with that too, Marcus. So
especially if it saves them a few coins there too.
Well, yeah, you ain't never lie about that. You know how that go.
You were also so spot on with that, because I remember at the time when Donovan was coming back, I remember there were some fans who were saying, we're not going to go for it anyway. Like, let's just take our lumps with Wanye, let him finish out the season as the left tackle. And you were like, no, when Donovan comes back, he's going to be the guy. And then what happened?
Absolutely.
Well, no taking our lumps, because we got that ring.
Right.
I've
done this a time or two. So
what's that?
I said I've done this a time or two. I
Yes.
used to be an offensive line coach, man. All my guys went to college, and then, JD knows a little bit of what he's talking about now. Okay,
You know your stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just limited to the O-line stuff, JD, because you were one of the few. I honestly, maybe the only voice that was saying, "Hold up, give MVS MVS's earn credence, guys. Just relax a little bit here." And what happened? I think we all know what happened in the playoffs.
Yeah. We had a conversation. I'm gonna tell my guys. We had a conversation. Go ahead, man. We were just having a conversation because Barbershop was like, man, I guess he took one of our tweets or something and he showed it to us all our boys in the talk. But man, JD was like, yo, I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. The worst thing you possibly do is you could have set him and not do anything with MVS. That was the worst thing you do with a guy who's catching the football, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just lose confidence. That'd have been the worst thing that could possibly do against a guy like that. So.
And you found the silver lining, because you were talking about, you can't bench him with the way we're running the ball. He's the only one who actually blocks out there. And then, they never benched him. They kept him in there, and then they never benched him. And for whatever reason, with running his blocking ability or whatnot, he's still stuck in there and did his thing throughout the playoffs. So
slowly developing a confidence back, man. Slowly developing it back, right? And it takes time. And if I can give you something else you can do that you can feel good about, beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. And then maybe that grows and that will, trigger something else of getting better confidently about doing something. And so, yeah, no doubt about it.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.